First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BBE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT. You found us in whatever podcast app you are using right now, and we are
live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How we doing?
At least I think we're live. Shout out StreamYard. We use them. We pay for them. And they always seem to screw us over. But we still love you. But, like, figure it out. So if I sound like I'm underwater, which I hope I don't.
I think you sound okay. Maybe right. Not as silky smooth as usual, but you sound pretty clear. Yeah. Don't really know what's going on. StreamYard have done another update, and it's just not letting Braden connect to his professional mic. So we're getting Braden through Mac mic right now. So apologies if there's any sound issues. Although I think we should be good for the rest of the show.
StreamYard, again, don't get me wrong. We love you. But StreamYard, like most things in life, they charge you more and the product gets worse.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome.
And we're going to talk all about WWE today. So, yeah.
I wasn't. See, that's how the tribalists come out now. They're going to attack me and you. And oh, boy, it's going to be a whole thing. But anyways, we're here. We are Braden and Davie. We are Poisonrana. We are your NXT friends. And we'll always be your NXT friends, except this weekend. We will not be your NXT friends. You can go find your own NXT friends this weekend because we are taking a week off. I know we just did last week. Happy Canada Day, late delay. Happy 4th of July. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we are taking the weekend off. We're going on vacation, sort of. And we're going to watch some graps. We're going to watch a lot of wrestling. And happy wrestling, it never stops. It never ends. So if you are taking in the graps this weekend, strap in, get your I don't know, your ritual. Maybe you're an energy drink kind of person, a beer, a claw, whatever it may be. You're going to strap in, I'm sure, for a lot of wrestling. Maybe you're going to watch it all on Sunday, all on Monday, who knows? But lots of wrestling. It never stops. It'll never leave you, just like Davie and I, except this Saturday we will leave you. But Poisonrana.ca for all the links of everything we do. We may be your NXT friends, but we do a whole lot of other stuff. We just dropped on our free feed Poisonrana Live, where we gave a huge preview for AEW All in Texas this Saturday. We go through some preview predictions and all that. Plus, we talked about CM Punk, John Cena, Night of Champions, and all sorts of other stuff. We just went live on Sunday. Go check it out on our free feed and hear all about our shenanigans that we're going to get up to this week. But the wrestling is just, are you wrestled out already? Are you ready for this week?
I feel kind of bad, but there's nothing we can do. Look, we've been doing upNXT for 7 years now? 7+ years we've been doing this show. And in one way or another, we've managed to cover every single PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call them, every special event between us, between others. But this weekend, it wasn't feasible. We made the choice to go to Texas. We're super excited to go to All In. And then obviously, just a pure coincidence, this weekend of 3 WWE shows being announced. So you will get our thoughts. Our thoughts will be around this time next Tuesday on the Great American Bash, as well as next Tuesday's NXT. So we will be talking about it, but there's not going to be an official post show on Post Wrestling, unfortunately. John Way are going to be super busy with Saturday night's main event and the Evolution pay-per-view, which I want to watch all of that as well. But our focus next weekend is going to be All in Texas as we make the trip to Dallas. But yeah, we had a little rant on Sunday's show on Poisonrana, which if you're not a subscriber already, please go ahead and search for Poisonrana in your podcast feed and on YouTube. And
you saying
subscribe?
You're saying we had a little rant.
Well,
you're talking about your little rant?
Well, I mean, that was another little rant. I had a few little rants, but yeah, there are 52 weeks in the year. Why are we having 4 wrestling shows over the same 2 days of the calendar year? It's you know what it does? It punishes wrestling fans. It punishes people that actually do enjoy both products and want to watch both products. And it's a shame because, NXT is our baby. Through thick or thin, we have unconditional love, even when it's been in its lowest point of that 2.0 era. We stuck through it and we talked about it. And next week, we're just not going to be able to watch it and do a show live. But no, I'm not wrestled out yet, in answer to your question. But maybe check in with me, check my pulse next Tuesday at 10:05 p.m. and we'll see.
We will be back next week, 10:05 Tuesday. We will give our thoughts. We will, before we jump into next week's NXT, we will start the show right away. No funny business, as we'll give all our thoughts on Great American Bash and maybe some Evolution, and then we'll talk about next week's NXT. So if you're like, guys, how could you do this? NXT friends, the whole gimmick, how could you leave us? We deserve it. All right, we deserve to do what we want, and we're doing what we want. But we'll talk about some Great American Bash. We'll be bashing the bash next Tuesday. So join us here, 10:05 p.m., as we will talk all about it. Hopefully a good show. NXT, when their back's against the wall, the PLEs have been pretty good lately. So it's not that we don't want to watch this weekend. There's some good stuff announced. It's just we're forced to choose with this coincidence of booking of all the
such a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh shucks, can't. Is this the first time? Okay, this is probably. I swear we're not going to try to get the people on one side to get angry with the other time, but like, follow me for just a second. Let me just poke the bear a tiny little bit. Okay. We don't work for any of these companies. We don't go to bat for any of these companies. We simply are just two nerds who love wrestling so much, and we give our honest opinions on it every week. Many times, AEW has run a show where WWE has had like a same show in the same day or the same weekend, where one WWE show has an attendance of like all these things, and then the AEW show, like not even 3 of their shows could equal the attendance of like one of the WWE shows. Is this the first and maybe only time that it's the opposite? Where it looks like there's a lot of tickets sold for one event and the others are the WWE, which is the big guns, which is the big guys who usually have the tickets like in the bag. And it seems like it's a little way the other round. Is it because All In was announced a long time ago? It does seem, whether or not you like our jokes about coincidence, WWE booked this show way after the knowledge of All In being booked. And like, it's kind of interesting seeing. I'm not applauding a downfall. And in fact, I expect by the weekend, tickets for all these shows will be lively crowds for every single show that we get. WWE, AEW, NXT, whatever. I'm just like, usually it's the other shoe on the other foot where the fans are like, oh, the tickets and the people in the crowd and stuff. As long as the crowd is hot and the people want to be there, that's what matters.
I think there's a lot of factors going into it with the sales thing. And I think, obviously they're running different places. Like
Atlanta,
WWE
Texas,
are running Atlanta and it's Texas. So they're far apart. Like you're not going to be picking one or over the other. It's not like one is in Arlington and one's in Fort Worth or whatever. But but I do think, and I've been saying this recently on a Poisonrana show, I do think the quality in WWE has dropped since Mania. I think there's been a lack of a build to a lot of these matches across all 3 shows this weekend. And the prices are too high for what they're asking for. Like I believe the lowest price ticket for NXT was like $153, which is
that's crazy,
ridiculous. This is the developmental brand, and you've already got people who are potentially forking out even more to go to Evolution or Saturday night's main event. So I think there's a bit of a breaking point there. And really, there was no direction for a lot of these shows. Yes, we knew Goldberg Gunther. Like, if you are a Goldberg fan, if you're in the Atlanta area, that could be a draw for people. I mean, they've shifted 10,000+ tickets for that show. They did 16,000, I believe, for Bad Blood last year, but they could still move more tickets in that time.
They will. Yeah.
Evolution is a show that I'd be super pumped to go to if it was in my area. But like, really, there's been such a lack of build. Like like Becky even kind of made a joke on it on Raw this week. Like, hey, the other champions just get to choose their opponent. And that's literally what it's been. It's Io just chose Rhea and Tiffany just chose Trish. So I think apart from that Intercontinental triple threat match, which I think they've built really nicely, everything else is thrown together. And I'd say the closing segment of NXT this week kind of sums up my feeling of this whole show of just laziness. That was one of the most lazy segments. Normally we reserve something like that for the beginning of the show, where just the conveyor belt of people coming out. No, I'm going to be champion. No, I'm good. And I thought it was kind of embarrassing to close this week's NXT. And that's just a shame, because I think on paper there's some really good stuff at Evolution this year, but they don't deserve it. The build hasn't deserved this show to be sold out yet. And you're going off of just fans wanting to go to the event, like, you know, wanting to support the women, knowing it will be, on paper it's a good show. But I think us as fans want more than that. We want compelling stories. We want to be invested.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Liv Morgan injury threw a bit of a spanner in the works, but just trying to make us care about this battle royal is also a bit confusing, because this is to face the champion after SummerSlam. So it's as a fan, you're juggling like 4 shows in your head, like what he's going to wear. And I think they failed. I think they shot themselves in the foot by trying to do this thing. And as much as people are going to try and discredit AEW, the fact is they're going to hit around 25,000 people, which is huge for a company outside of WWE. In a market of Texas where they run quite a lot, you know, the stories we had no intention of going a couple of months ago, but the stories, the TV has compelled us. We've got into it. I'm getting that feeling like I did for WrestleMania Philly, where I'm like, yeah, WrestleMania 40, this feels like the one we should be going to. And that's kind of how I feel about All In. So, you know, both companies have awesome wrestlers. You're going to get great wrestling on all these shows, most likely. But you do need something to compel you to put your hands in your pockets and pay, especially when you're asking this much.
Yeah, you know, I really am I'm really hyped for the Evolution show. I think the women deserve a pay-per-view, not every 5-7 years or whatever it was since the last one. But like the way you've gone about it and hyping it up, it doesn't feel like it's a special one-time, second-time event. It just feels like it's some show we're throwing together. As you said, some of the segments from the past few weeks is like, oh, that's how we're getting there. I'm not denying that the wrestling will be solid, because I'm hoping that it really is. And I think all 3 shows have potential of at least, Goldberg Gunther, I really don't know. There's intrigue there, but it's not necessarily going to be 3 minutes worth of good wrestling. We'll see.
But intrigue is fine. At least there is intrigue with that one. You know, like, is there intrigue with LA Knight Seth Rollins? No.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, right. So
I'm just like, okay, the women's thing is like, if you were to announce this, I don't know if it was the Observer saying that this was originally supposed to be somewhere else and they moved it to this date specifically. And I don't know, is this just a bad move? Like, what if you promoted this further back and made it such a big deal that, hey, look, the women are getting an Evolution pay-per-view again. All women's pay-per-view, women's power, girl power,
on its own weekend.
With why are we
nothing to oppose it and make it feel like a big deal?
It's kind of weird. And we're going to talk about tonight's episode, which is the go home for Great American Bash. And I thought it was here's our review. It's a lazy episode to hype you for a show that's this weekend. And again, it'll probably have some great wrestling. I'm going to watch it. There's going to be things I'm going to love, but I just feel like they really hey, we're going to do this weekend with 3 shows and all 3 are going to be the laziest hype that we've done all year. It's like, really? If you were booking this to oppose like another wrestling company, wouldn't you really like hammer it home? Wouldn't you be calling up Sean and Brett? Hey, could you guys hug again on TV? We could do some counter program. Like, wouldn't you really like try to do that? I think also a part of it is like gaining they don't want just the buzz of another wrestling company online on social media. So I think having something going on the same weekend kind of could help take over that scenario as well. I don't know. There's a million reasons why they would have booked these shows this weekend, but business is business, I guess. And as wrestling fans, we're spoiled because we get so much wrestling, but then it does become to become a little bit too much. You know, it's summertime now. People want to go outside. People want to do stuff. It's like, do you really want to sit through and watch all these hours of wrestling? You can choose. We have DVRs now. We have, watch wrestling, all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm happy that we're getting a lot of wrestling. Do not get me wrong. It's just, it sucks when us, the fans, do have to choose, because it kind of adds to this, like, well, I'm team this and I'm team that. It's like, man, do you think these wrestlers think the same way? Do you think they hate each other as much as you fucking people hate the other team's people? Like, come on.
I find it like really embarrassing,
irritating,
like, looking at grown human beings online, adults who are, because one show is I think we're pretty impartial here. I certainly like drift back and forth, but
of course
I had exactly the same criticisms, all in 2023, where they're trying to build it up All Out and Grand Slam and Blood and Guts and all this at the same time, and you go, where's your focus? No, just focus on one thing and make it really good. And they kind of solved that. They've spread everything out more this year, and just this bombardment from WWE, it's affected the quality for sure, because I don't know, so much is thrown together and
stinks.
And there's good stuff as well. Like there's I think you often, it comes back. If the top of the card is interesting, like everything else you kind of forgive, but it's more at the moment finding little diamonds in the rough rather than a diamond at the peak. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I kind of feel with it at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, can we all enjoy wrestling? Can we all just get along? And every time if you say to someone, oh yeah, I didn't like NXT tonight, the first response shouldn't be, well, Dynamite fucking sucked and did it. It's like, well, man, like if I go to watch F1 and I say it sucks, does it mean, I didn't see it yet, but like, does it mean that like now everyone's got to fight and argue about, like, I know people do that, especially on the internet. Just wrestling fans are just the weirdest, and we're some of them, I guess, but like we try to look at it from both sides. Just enjoy. It's supposed to be entertainment. Like, this is my escape, I don't want to look at politics and what's going on and wars and news. I want to watch half naked dudes wrestle. All right. So like, fuck off with the tribalism. I cannot stand it. Maybe I got to throw my phone in the lake sometimes, but I'll try to do that and try to avoid are we going to try to avoid Great American Bash spoilers? How does that?
I'll be avoiding all spoilers. Yeah, as best as I can. We've got a long journey home, and I've got a tablet. So yeah,
the next day. Yeah.
Job Nobley in the chat is asking, is it fair that all these indie promotions piggyback off of a WrestleMania? I think so.
That's different than
a completely different thing. That's a festival feeling. That's like you're at a festival, you go see some small indie band in the morning, and then you go see Metallica at night.
Yeah.
The next day you go and see Foo Fighters at night. But they're not programming Foo Fighters against Metallica at the same time, are they?
Yeah. That's a great example. Yeah. You wouldn't book the same things if you're like indie promotions, like your GCW, who do big weekends. Like, that's as if like after parties thrown by some now with affiliated WWE stuff. So it's a little bit different than the Evolution. Evolution is WWE like pushing and saying, look how like proud we are that we're pushing the women finally. It's like, well, kind of not doing it. I don't know. Let's get the turnstile count of Beyonce across the street in Atlanta.
Well, you're talking of turnstile counts. I'm wondering what the turnstile count for Coldplay at Rogers Stadium in Toronto would be right now, because I work right around the corner from the Rogers Center.
The Rogers Center,
formerly known as the Sky Dome, home of Elimination Chamber from this year, home of WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania Six.
Oh yeah.
And I had a few people today walk in and clearly going to a concert. Girls very like a lot of glitter on their face and nice dresses and stuff, and having some drinks. And I go, hey guys, you got plenty of time, but are you going to Coldplay today? And they're like, yes. And I go, you're aware it's at the Rogers Stadium, about an hour away, right? Not here. And some of them are like, yeah, we were just downtown and we wanted to check out the area and stuff and have some drinks and we're making our way up soon. I'm like, cool. I'm walking home tonight. It's about 7:30 and I see these two young girls dolled up, glitter, dresses, and they've got their phone and they're like walking
Rogers
around.
Center.
And it's clear, like, I know what that looks like. That looks like, oh, it says we're going through gate 5. Where's gate 5? And they're looking around, they're looking up.
It's probably empty because there's no.
Seems awfully quiet. Yeah, Jays are away, winning on their streak right now. And it's like, sorry, girls, are you lost? And they're like, yeah, we're looking for the Rogers Center. And I went, are you going to see Coldplay? And they're like, yes. It's like, I'm afraid that's at the Rogers Stadium in Downsview. And they're like, what? And like, yeah, there's a Rogers Center and a Rogers Stadium because why not? Like, let's be as confusing as possible. And if you've got to take the one line to like Downsview, it's going to take you about an hour probably. And they just burst into tears. Think of the money that they
like
spent.
I've been looking at $7 bills. Minimum.
I've been looking at tickets like
minimum.
And the fact that they could potentially miss part of this show because it's so cruel. Like, why name it this? It's so ridiculous. But I've seen apparently 1,000 people showed up to Rogers Center last week for that. Was it like a K-pop concert that happened?
So like
ridiculous.
anyone, like we're Toronto here, and so they built this thing like you said, like outside of the city. It's called Downsview. It's like uptown, way uptown. So like not even really Toronto.
It's the old airport.
Yeah, right? Like an old airport, like way back in the day. So it's like they built this fake stadium that can hold more people because Coldplay is like, hey, all the stadiums we play in Europe and Canada, they're really big, and the Sky Dome is only like 40,000-50,000 people, if that, when like they could do double that in one night. So the city was like, hey, what if we made like a makeshift? The Toronto has been trying to get rid of the Sky Dome and redo it, but you just can't because like it's downtown, it's in a great spot, and the Jays play, so it would mess everything up. So Live Nation, I think it is, we're like, let's build this new stadium, and it looks janky as hell. And the first few concerts, they only built one exit. So think of, I don't know, thousands and thousands of people. You're trying to leave like a WrestleMania or a concert, and all of a sudden there's only one exit. So it took literally hours for people to file out of this thing. And then another thing, hey, we're going to build a stadium that fits like 100,000 people. Well, okay, what do we need? What about a parking lot? Nah, we don't need that. So they didn't build a parking lot. They didn't build ways to connect to the transit. It has been just a complete mess. And then on top of that, now people are going to the other venue and showing up being like, oh, wait a second. This isn't like, so this isn't Coldplay. So I feel bad for those people.
I felt a bit like, I was like, should I just hang around here for an hour and just direct people?
Be the guy? Yeah.
They should at least have signs at Rogers Center being like,
it ain't here.
You are at the wrong place, you know?
Yeah.
But
I hope they made it. I really hope they made it.
I hope they do.
Coldplay, I really love their old stuff. I can't say I'm necessarily like, I've never seen them, so I had interest to see them, but it's just $700 minimum, like $1,000.
I saw the lowest I've seen was around 4.
Okay, that's still insane, right?
It is. Like, I'd love to see them live. I heard they're an incredible like live show.
And then like the reason they built this thing in Toronto is because like we're getting big stadiums, and like I said, these big touring things are like, yo, why would we play Canada for A, less money, and B, way less people in one night? So they built this thing. So Oasis is doing like 2 or 3 nights, and like that is like they're gonna try to fit as many people, and like that is like minimum, 700 something a ticket. So crazy that they're doing this, and I hope that they can fix it, because like we do need a bigger. The reason WrestleMania will never come here is because we just don't have like the big enough thing for that, right? Like Taylor Swift had to do 5 nights in a row here just to equal like 2 in another city. So it's kind of crazy.
I mean, I just find it wild that it's the World Cup next year. And
we're screwed.
They knew this for like 4 or 8 years ago. This was decided. I can't remember exactly. And we've got such a tiny, shitty football stadium. And you think, and it's to do with like, you know, Live Nation, MLSC, like all these different organizations, Rogers that buys all these things and owns it. But you go, hey, wouldn't that be a great opportunity to have like a world-class football stadium for the World Cup that you can also use for Oasis, you can use for Coldplay, for Taylor Swift or whatever.
They're already they couldn't because they're already mad that everyone in the city is like, yo, maybe we shouldn't have spent this money because we've spent so much. The issue now is we've spent so much money for this World Cup only for it to eventually embarrass this city. When the World Cup does happen and it does show all the places and then it cuts to our janky little fucking thing, people are going to make fun of us. They're going to be like, that's the best you got. And then we'll be like, yeah, that cost us $5 billion. So it's a sad state. We do need like a bigger stadium, but maybe that's the future. Maybe Toronto finally, like, we're getting lots of people again. Like when big artists like your WrestleManias fill, like, I don't know, what's a NFL, like 100,000, 80,000?
Depends. Like, I mean, yeah, anywhere between 50 and 100.
Like my whole life, I've gone to
Cowboys
Jays
is the biggest one, I believe.
Sure, yeah. Like all my life of living here, I've been, you know, Jays games or concerts at the Skydome, and then going to other countries and cities. You're like, oh my god, Skydome's like half of the size of some of these places. So, yeah. Shout out the Rogers Stadium. Shout out our beautiful city of Toronto. Maybe someone listening out there has checked out the Netflix Rob Ford documentary, which you can learn a whole lot about the history. The man who put Toronto on the map. We would be okay if he was still here. He would know what to do with these stadiums. Just smoke away all the money, I guess. But
well, let's get in some quick plugs before we do get into NXT. As we did mention, we do have a Patreon over at patreon.com/PoisonRana. And as always, we've been busy on there. We recently reviewed in prep for All In. We reviewed Omega versus Okada, the series, the 4 matches in our latest episode of Best Match Ever.
Oh yeah, we finally went back and looked at the best rivalry in wrestling, Okada Omega. It's happening again this Saturday, so we geared ourselves up and got ready. We made it a great companion piece. We go through all the matches, the history of the story and everything, and then review, rate, and talk all about it and get ready for All In, the 5th battle between these two singles matches that will be. So we'll see. And will Okada kick out of the one-winged angel? We shall see. That is a show on our Patreon. We are talking about WWE Evolution 2 this week. Well, we thought it would be fun to review the original 2018 Evolution is a mystery. We talk all about Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, Last Woman Standing, plus the Battle Royal, Mae Young Classic, Toni Storm, Io Shirai, and so much more. This was a great show to go back and watch. We just gave all our thoughts on it. This is our show from last week on our Patreon. Go check it out if you haven't already. We have a ton of fun. And again, is a great companion piece for this upcoming Evolution 2.
I mean, I will say at least they're consistent because that card felt pretty thrown together as well.
Yes.
Most of the undercard. But yeah, it was fun and a great kind of like I recommend going back and watching the first Evolution before this weekend.
Absolutely.
Evolution 2. And this week, we're getting in the Dallas spirit.
We put it to a tadpole.
Yeah.
We're called Poisonrana, so we do a thing on our Facebook group. You should join. We put it to you, a tadpole of different things. So we're going to Dallas, and our hotel is literally around the corner from Dealey Plaza, which some people are like, I know what that is, and some people are like, hey, I don't. So, spoiler alert, you all voted for Oliver Stone's 1991, the year I was born, JFK. That's right. We're talking about Kevin Costner. We're talking about John Candy. This cast is like a Royal Rumble.
It's
Watching
ridiculous.
this today, I was like, holy shit, who's going to come out next?
Kevin Bacon, Jack Lemmon.
Oh my God. Walter Matthau?
I think I saw Joe Pesci in some weird wig and eyebrows.
Or was that Tommy Lee Jones in some weird wig and eyebrows? Yeah, that. So we're going to Dallas, and you know, we've talked a lot about different things in podcast, lead us on to some crazy tangents and stuff. But JFK is something, we're two Canadians here. We're not the most sharp on our American history and American conspiracy theories. So this is the perfect show to put your tinfoil hats on, because not only are we going to go to Dealey Plaza this weekend and record some on-the-spot snap ranas for our Patreon audio vlogs there or whatever, but we are going to look at JFK. We're going to review this movie from 1991, and then we're going to talk all about it on this Patreon show tomorrow. And then we're also going to talk all about the conspiracies, because going into this movie, I didn't read about it. I didn't watch the trailer. I just assumed Kevin Costner was playing John F. Kennedy. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, because I was like, he doesn't really look like him, but let's see how good he is. Then I watched it, and like 30 minutes in, I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is about a conspiracy theory that there's a third shooter, et cetera, all that stuff. So my eyes have been opened. I'm studying all the documentaries. I'm in the zone.
I will say I reached out to Poisonrana, Post Wrestling's favorite conspiracy theorist, our good friend Hansi. And right as we went live, he sent what I can only describe as an essay, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. So
we'll read it on the show.
we're looking forward to diving deep into the conspiracies of JFK. So that's coming up on our Patreon later this week, as well as Braden mentioned some little road diaries we're going to be doing as we are taking a trip to Dallas via Detroit. So we'll be keeping you updated in little like snap rana, 5-minute, 10-minute shows we'll be doing on our trips. And hopefully we'll be able to get some other good content out for you guys this weekend as well.
Absolutely. We will be at Globe Life Field in Arlington. And as soon as we're done, we'll probably try to record at a bar in an Uber as we usually do and get the audio up. So you'll hear our instant reactions and review of All in Texas. So search Poisonrana in your podcast app, in your Instagram, Twitter. Give us a follow, subscribe, check out our YouTube page as well. And there's so many shows and different podcasts that we do. And we appreciate all the love and support out there, everyone. We can't do this without us. And if you are in Texas, the DMs are open. We will be hopping around a bit. And I know AEW is doing the thing beforehand at the live bar across the street. So you might be able to catch us there as well. But DMs are always open as well. But patreon.com/Poisonrana. You get all those pods, $5. Check it out and support Evolution Review, JFK, and so much more in that back catalog that we do. Before we jump into NXT and before we talk preview all the wrestling that we have this week, we got to shout out the homie, John Cino Evil. I'm getting a lot of messages. I'm seeing a lot of people in the post-wrestling Poisonrana world. He has taken a sabbatical. He has asked for, and Poisonrana has granted, effective immediately. John Cino Evil has been released. We wish him well.
Does that mean we have to? Are we pouring one out?
Oh wait, is this like WWE with the contract renewals now? He's not being written. No, he's leaving us for another. No, he's not. He's enjoying his summer, and our boy Cino is taking a little break from the podcasting and the wrestling. Deep down, I know he'll still be watching some wrestling. So don't worry.
One of the hardest workers we know. Like sure. we both post wrestling, Poisonrana isn't our full-time job. We both work jobs on top of this, and we find it tough to keep up with everything, to keep up with the reviews, to keep up with the wrestling. And Cino for the last 5-6 years has been watching everything there is, and he's the same as us. He works a job as well, a shoot job as we call them here, and has recently got a bigger job and is working way more full-time. And to keep up with all the wrestling, and he's a dad, he wants the social life as well, it starts becoming more like work. And I think we always want this to be fun. I think it shows when either of us, when we have an off day or whatever and we're doing a podcast, we sometimes come out and are like feeling I've had a shit day, I was in a mood today, I didn't give myself my best. And it is exhausting doing these things. Like it's super fun, but we as podcasters give a lot of ourselves to you. And I think it's I'm glad Cino's taking this break, or no matter how long it is, whether it's forever, I hope not. I'd love to have him back one day, but I completely get it, and I wish him all the best. We're still going to be hanging out. We're still going to be seeing him and going to wrestling and checking in on each other. So just nothing to be worried about. Everything's good. But most of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you to the third man, the producer, the executive producer of NXT upNXT and Poisonrana, our good friend John Cino, Mr. Shot in the Dark himself, Mr. What Up Doe. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Cino, as always. And if you are listening, you were worried or you were thinking of him and everything, hey, write a nice comment. I'm sure he might see it here or there. I think he may have taken down his Twitter, Instagram, and I know people were like, oh my God, what's going on? He just wants a break from y'all, all right? Just wants a little break. But shout out, Cino. That's the homie. We love you. And we'll continue. And when you want to make a big surprise return at a future upNXT Rumble, even if we still do those things, the door is always open. We appreciate and love all of our friends, but see no evil. He's not going to be seeing no evil, hearing no evil, speaking no evil. He's taking the summer off, all right? Enjoy while you can. But appreciate all the listeners out there. You know, post wrestling, we're a bit of a community. And as we always say, we pride ourselves on that. And we can't do it without the community. And he was a really big part of it. And he still is, I'm sure. But it goes without saying. He's done a lot for us over the last little while, and we appreciate and love. So love to all. Peace and love, as we like to say here at upNXT and Poisonrana. Peace and love. But now we can talk about some NXT. Now we can talk about what we've been waiting to do here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, NXT.
NXT.
Right. NXT from July 8th, 2025. And we're kicking things off with a gauntlet match, which was set up last week on NXT. Ricky Saints versus the Vanity Project. Yes, the moment we've all been waiting for since Evolve started was, when are we going to get Ricky Saints versus Ricky Smokes? Well, it happened tonight in a gauntlet match. And if Ricky Saints wins, he gets to face Ethan Page for the North American title.
I can't believe we're getting Ricky versus Ricky. I think I'll still die on the hill that Ricky Smokes is the best wrestling name going right now, because just hearing them say it, it's like, oh, Ricky Smokes. I'm like, I don't know why it makes me chuckle.
He sounds like he should be in Bugsy Malone, doesn't he?
Ricky Smokes, eh? Oh, Ricky Smokes. Like, is your name Ricky Smokes just so that Vic can go, Ricky got smoked?
Yes.
It's like, yes, Vic, thank you.
So Brad Baylor is the first opponent for Ricky Saints.
Also a good wrestling name, but not as good as Ricky Smokes, Brad Baylor.
With one of the most punchable faces I've ever seen, Brad Baylor. Looks like a young Matt Damon, I'd say. But there's big chops from Ricky to start with. Baylor comes back with a backbreaker and starts to take control, and then delivers this lovely looking like double underhook twisting neck breaker. Kind of like the Goldust's move. It's
kind of like a Stormbreaker. It's like the butterfly into like a spinning neck breaker kind of thing. Look
very cool. Nice. Ricky comes back with a series of backdrops, and then kicks off the top rope, delivering a tornado DDT and pins Baylor. And then we see.
I liked also, you said he did a butterfly thing. You know, I kind of like so far of what we've seen from the Vanity Project here on NXT. I think it's a good way to bring these guys in and be associated with Ethan Page. And I was like, okay, cool, young heels and everything. But then Brad Baylor goes out there and hits a sushi goroshi. You know, that's my soft spot. If a wrestler hits this move, I'm instantly a fan. So Vanity Project, I'm on their team now. I'm a big fan. Sushi goroshi didn't do enough to pin Ricky, but Brad Baylor, I like your moveset.
We then see Ethan Page, who's on commentary with the other two members of the Vanity Project, and he's looking at them and assessing and goes, Smokes, you go next. So Ricky Smokes comes in, delivers a nice-looking Gamengiri in the corner, and then a twisting vertical suplex, which looked pretty nice as well. During the break, we see a suplex from the apron to the floor from Ricky Saints, and then after the break, Smokes hits an Ushigoroshi, but it's only a 2 count. There's then a huge sidewalk slam from Saints, and then a big belly-to-belly toss and reverse DDT for a 2 count from Ricky Saints. have to make sure I get the surname in there. And then a schoolboy from Smokes, but only a 2. And then Saints hits the Manhattan drop and a roll through. And I really like this added layer to this pinning combination where Saints just wrapped his legs around the feet of Ricky Smokes to really trap him and get the pinfall here.
I know years of wrestling. We must have asked this. Other people must ask this. But a Manhattan drop is dropping a man on his Manhattans. Like, it's straight up.
Tailbone.
It's straight up. No, but wait a second. The atomic drop is the one from behind. The Manhattan drop is like full on dropping the dude on his balls on your knee. So it's like, I just never understood why that's not allowed, why that is allowed, but straight up kicking a guy in the nuts, which is pretty much the same thing, is not allowed. But anyways.
Someone tell us why. Why?
Yeah.
So Jackson Drake, the Evolve champion, the Carolina Reaper, as they call him. I quite like that name.
Yeah.
Comes out next. And Jackson kind of keeps evading Ricky by doing these like flips and cartwheels, and then goes to the top for a senton. But Ricky gets the knees up and then delivers Rochambeau while staring at Ethan Page to pick up the win.
He crushed him with that.
Yeah.
Like Rochambeau, Ricky's not necessarily the biggest guy, and it's basically a running dominator. So you can't do this move on everyone. But these Evolve guys, these Vanity kids are younger and smaller, so he was easily able to just smash him with this move. You know what? This was pretty fun, this gauntlet thing. We've seen Ricky and Ethan already. It's like, okay, what can we do? And I like this addition of these young guys kind of being his hyenas to Ethan Page's Scar, if you will. Like, all right, you go do my dirty work, Putty Patrol, and then they get their asses kicked. But in return, these guys are kind of showing some good stuff. Like, I thought all 3 dudes who fought Ricky got some fun moves in there, got some good offense, and you got a little snapshot of kind of who they were. So in the end, I think this kind of helps everyone, even if they're getting like jobbed out here, you know?
Yeah, I think they've been doing great showcases of these Evolve guys in NXT, and I'm not one who really has an issue with, you know, I'm sure there are Evolve purists out there who are like, how dare the Evolve champion being pinned? But I just see it,
purists, yes.
Yeah, I just see it as a no, but you know what I mean. You get that when an NXT person goes up to the main roster and they lose to someone, and I think it's okay. You know, you get that in sports. You get a Premier League team should beat the winners of the championship or the winners of Division 1 because they're different tier. And I kind of liked how, you know, normally we complain in Survivor Series style matches or 2 out 3 falls where there's a fall that's just like a nothing move. But in this case, I think it makes sense. You know, it's like that Tornado DDT is enough to put away one of these kids from Evolve, and kind of worked up that the only person he had to hit his finisher on was the actual Evolve champion. But I thought all 3 guys got some stuff in. I think their personalities have really shown. I think that Baylor in particular stands out as just being hateable, which is great, which is a great thing. So I thought this was a win all round. It made Ricky Saints look strong. He's been out for a while. And I thought the Evolve guys stepped up as well.
You know, now that you said he kind of looks like Matt Damon, kind of don't agree, but do agree. Like, I like Matt Damon, but I'd like to not like Brad Baylor. Like, I think he's already fun to hate. Just I like these guys, these Vanity. I keep them together. Put them on NXT more often.
Like young 90s Matt Damon when he had the curtains going and all that.
Like Applesauce. Like, you know, like what's the movie? Good Will Hunting?
Yes.
Like old Matt Damon, like young. Yeah. When he was good.
So after the match, Ricky gets on the mic and says, Ethan, the ball's in my court. And at Great American Bash, I'm going to dog walk your ass all over Atlanta. I want a Falls Count Anywhere match. So that's been signed for Great American Bash, Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Falls Count Anywhere.
He made it clear to also say anything goes. Falls Count Anywhere. So like DQ, no DQ is kind of his specialty, as he said. You know, we were assuming a few weeks ago, like, would this not lead to a loser leaves NXT? And I thought that's exactly what he was gonna say either, but like, this town ain't big enough for the both of us kind of thing. I do see Paige should leave at this point, even though now I'm enjoying the Vanity thing with him. But like, both these guys don't even need to be in NXT. But I think I like the last time.
I think NXT needs some top male talent though, right?
Yeah, we really do. And I'm looking forward to this one because the last time they fought, it was pretty good. And I think Ricky Saints with the no DQ, Ethan Page with the no DQ, that's definitely like a bit of their element there. So
definitely favors Ethan Page. Like I think his matches are always more entertaining when there's gimmicks involved. But we've seen Saints in the past as well is no slouch when it comes to these matches. So I think this will be pretty good. If they can deliver that kind of violence we had with that chair throat spot a few weeks ago, I think it could be pretty good.
Right. Yes. He's still, his larynx?
His larynx, yeah.
Still injured. We'll see.
We see Zaruka talking about how excited they are to be in the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match at Evolution. And Soul says she will take care of Izzy on Saturday in the North American title match. And then on Sunday, they'll win the championship. And then Laney Reed, I don't know if this was for you, but I could barely hear her. It sounded like she wasn't mic'd up.
Yeah, it was a bit odd. There was a few instances of that, but this for sure. Yeah, I could still eventually hear her, but she was just being mean.
She was being mean. She was talking shit to both of them. And then Kalani Jordan, newly engaged. Kalani Jordan, congratulations. Mello don't miss. Comes in and says, why are you worrying about these two when you should be worrying about yourself? Because what have you even done here? And Laney goes, yeah, well, I have no problem showing you what I can do here. And Kalani steps up and goes, show me then. Did you get like a complete 180 of Kalani's character this week? I thought she felt pure, babyface, locker room leader, like just completely different to what she's been the last few weeks.
Like, I guess Laney is a heel and she's new, but Kalani still has the edge. Like, what have you even done here? It's still kind of like, I don't know, more of an edge. She's not heel, but she's got like, you can't walk all over her kind of thing, you know? So I don't know. It's coming. It'll eventually happen. And I think when it does, I think it'll be a big breakthrough for Kalani Jordan in NXT. I think that's what's been missing is like, look at what happened. Look at Roxanne. She's look, I like riding the bus and I'm so nice and everything. And then when she became mean, it's like become the whole package kind of thing.
I'd love to see her being elevated to the main championship.
Yeah,
soon. Because I think she's great.
And then like you could go back to her being a babyface after that, even bigger. So yeah.
We see Jordan Grace training when she calls Blake Monroe as they're supposed to be tagging against Fatal Influence at the weekend. And she calls Blake going, where are you? And Blake mocks her saying, oh, let me guess. You're at the gym. You're in a black sports bra, black leggings, black trainers. And Jordan's like, well, yes, actually I am. She goes, well, I got you a black SUV and it's out the back. So get in there and we can have a glamour workout. So Jordan does what she says and she arrives and you see right away, she does not look impressed as she goes, ew, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh boy, I knew we were in for a treat when I saw this first segment. God bless Jordan Grace. I think she's one of the best wrestlers, men, women, going. But I think the reason we're getting these kinds of things is maybe they want to see her in the acting. Maybe a bit more of the comedy duo thing. We've seen it a lot here at NXT. Hey, what's your weakness? Okay, we're going to throw you into the deep end and you're going to swim your way out of it. And like jumping ahead to the next thing, I don't think Jordan Grace came across as, I'll say, acting in this. I don't think she came across really, really good, even in this one line of like her, like, oh boy, what do we get into here? I was like, oh, dude, okay, right. But then I remember like, no, when the bell rings, like you're the beast, like you're a killer. So I think this is done to try this. This is developmental. We've seen this. I think back to Io Sky at the sushi restaurant, and like, you know, it's Zaruka, it's always good cop, bad cop, and this felt very like Adam Cole MJF videos when they were like friends and stuff, like the weird like.
I hated every single one of those things you just mentioned.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like all those things that don't necessarily. I don't know. I knew right away where they were going, which is like it's gonna be a Glamour. It's like, okay, she's gonna take her somewhere to like get her nails done, and oh look, they go to get their nails done. So I don't know. I'm not gonna like dump on it all yet because we still have to get to the Glamour, but it didn't necessarily. It didn't get me like, oh great, yeah, the wrestling show I tuned into. They're gonna go get a mani-pedi, and that's what we should be doing on wrestling shows. But I understand.
Yeah, I'll save my thoughts to the next segment. But yes, we go to our next match. Tavion Heights taking on Charlie Dempsey, where if Tavion wins the match, he gets to leave the no quarter catch crew.
Yeah, like what's the deal? No one in this quarter catch crew wants to be in it, apparently. Just first we lost Miles. Now he's like hanging out with the Gators. And then now we got Tavion, who's hanging out with the Dogs, but also still in no quarter catch crew. So everyone just wants to leave. And
I guess they're contractually bound to this dojo, to this group.
Yeah. What was this contract like? I wonder, to join the no quarter catch crew. Did he like really sink his teeth in like, you can't leave? Ironclad contract.
Yes. So Heights starts off with some judo throws and then drop kicks Dempsey out the ring. Dempsey comes back applying this tight cravat as Heights keeps trying to roll out of it. But no matter what he does, Dempsey is still holding on. And then Heights eventually gets out of it with a big scoop slam. There's then a cross-faced chicken wing from Dempsey, which Heights gut wrenches him out of it by bouncing him off the top rope and slamming him down. I thought this looked pretty impressive here. There's then a huge belly-to-belly suplex throw from Tavion. And then Dempsey grabs the leg and both of them fall out the ring. And there's a bit of work on the steps here, which kind of gets slightly moved out the way. And as Heights is climbing back into the ring, he slips and his leg gets stuck between the ring post and the ring steps. And I thought this looked great. I thought they built this pretty nicely. And it did look like a genuine accident, which obviously was planned. But sometimes these things can come across really hokey, and I thought this looked really good. Dempsey and then takes advantage of it by continuing to stamp down on the leg that's trapped and then locks in a single Boston Crab in the middle of the ring, wrenching that leg back. Heights is holding on for everything, and then Dempsey turns that into the STF. And, well, Ren Sinclair can't see Tavion Heights in all this pain anymore. So she throws the towel in, and Charlie Dempsey wins, and Tavion Heights must stay in the no quarter catch crew.
Oh, man, you feel for him. He really wants his freedom from the jock club of wrestlers, I guess. It's really just the two of them and Ren, and like I guess this club will cease to exist eventually, but I like the touch of Charlie using the STF or the Regal stretch, if you will. I think it looks really good. I don't know. My wrestling brain has been programmed by John Cena and STFs for too many years. So when it finally is locked in, I'm like, whoa, that's what the move is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And that would really hurt someone, actually. Yeah. That looks like it's a great finishing move. So power to you. I love Tavion's wrestling. Like, they keep mentioning the Olympic and all that stuff. Like, hopefully it works. That I'm only bummed that Miles and him were just a really good team. So it's like, why did we split away from that? Because they've got something there. This guy is like the standing belly to belly. Like, I know Charlie's not like, you know, Bronson Reed or something, but to do the no like fall back belly to belly, he just belly to belly like nothing. Like a literally sack of potatoes, and he is very impressive. I didn't get enough. That was my only critique. This is probably my favorite of the graps, the favorite of the fights tonight on NXT, but it only gave me like a little bit of in actually like should have done this at the pay-per-view, and you should have gave him like another 10 minutes because I could have watched these guys wrestle for a while.
I mean, I feel we're getting this match again down the line. I really enjoyed it. I really like both their styles of wrestling. I think Heights is really coming to his own. I liked some of his, you know, using the ropes to get out moves, like bouncing Dempsey on it. And there was just some stuff that looked pretty innovative here. And I like the finish. I storyline wise, I like Ren throwing in the towel. And obviously you're going to get stuff coming out of that. I know it's not your favorite like gimmick and thing, but I think I don't like the Heritage Cup being where it is at the moment because it's so story driven. And I feel that something like that is what people like Tavion Heights should be fighting for at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're lower mid card people, but who have potential and can climb the ranks, but having, you know, a pure wrestling title, the rounds or whatever, I think it does showcase that way more than having your Lexis Kings and your
Italian mobsters.
Like it just doesn't work for me, where I think that would be something that would be great for this guy when he breaks out into singles.
Yeah, it's kind of backwards. Like the two mobsters are beefing, and now for some reason the Heritage Cup has been dragged into that.
It doesn't need it.
Whereas these guys could be fighting over that, and it would make sense because they're the wrestlers, like the group of wrestlers, right? I'm interested to see where do you go with Miles Bourne in NXT and WWE? Where do you go with Tavion and Charlie if we're going to separate them here? Because Ren has been someone as well who's slowly coming into her own, as like organically the crowds are liking her and people are liking her. So I don't want them to split, but this was a pretty interesting storyline with her throwing, I don't know, a good throw in the towel spot, you know? We don't get enough of that.
It's difficult with Miles because you went right to the NXT title, right?
Yeah.
And now he's got to go back. I know they've been sort of having him have a friendship with Javon, but I hate when people leave one stable to just join a tag team or whatever. So so I'm not sure. Again, though, if you had this Heritage Cup like freed, it could be something that some of these guys could be fighting over.
So how long does Tavion need to wear the kinky dog mask for? Like, are we
until his face is fixed?
Like, I thought his face would be fixed already, and then he was wearing it again, and I was like, I don't know what's weirder.
It's a real injury. It's not just like
a real injury,
like a couple of weeks and then you heal.
Is that a real mask though? Like, okay, I don't know what's weirder, him wearing the mask or when they cut their promos backstage, they put the mask on the training dummy. I don't know if that weirds me out even more for some reason, but the kinky dog
it's just
mask,
because it's a jaw injury, right? So that's
I thought it was his lip or something, right?
Right. So, we're so used to like the eye masks that people have to wear. So I think it just. Yeah,
it's supposed to be a dog mask, right? Like it's supposed to look like a dog, but 2 weeks in a row, it's like so you're aware of what you look like in it now, or 3 weeks in a row, I guess. But yeah, anyways,
we see Hank and Tank backstage. They're all hyped up. They're dialed in. They're just like Joey Chestnut and smashing all those hot dog records.
Glizzies, yes. Did you see that? Holy shit. That guy can eat. I'm known to eat some Costco glizzies once in a while, but that guy, the Joey Chestnut, like the champ for a reason. Holy crap, that dude can eat hot dogs. I think we need to get him on NXT. I'm not even American, but I can shout out Hank and Tank's beautiful American attire. They always dress pretty like 4th of July, anyways, right? But
this was the best gear they've worn on today.
It's just it's just stars and stripes is what it.
But it looked
basically
cool. It fit nicely. So they say there's no sneak attacks or steel chairs, and we see Lexis King just behind them, just like being a child, just banging on shit and being like.
I don't know what he was doing. He's
like got a chain and he's like slamming it against the like grating shutter thing and.
I thought he was like seeing if something was working. For a second, I thought he was wearing like a face mask. So like, I don't know. Looked like I'm not being booked, but they wanted me to do ring crew. So fuck it. I'm going to do it is basically what.
It almost felt like he wasn't meant, like legit wasn't meant to be there. And Hank and Tank are like, yo, Lexis, shut up. Like, we're recording our thing right now.
Or was he shining up the garage door for someone to get thrown into it? That's kind of looked like what he was doing. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Javon comes in and they say, oh, the Culling tried to take you out just like Jasper tried to take me out. Well, I got my win back and you need to get your win back. Now, I remember when Hank and Tank got attacked and yes, there was a chair left behind, but I think we both just assumed it was Dark State. And then they're like, no, it's a black chair. And we all know who uses black chairs, the Culling. I'm like, this whole company used black chairs. Like, I know it's Sean's thing, but yeah.
Everyone, all the chairs in this PC are the black chairs.
Yeah. So Javon says it's time to get your win back tonight and get revenge. And they all start dancing around and wobbling their bellies when Jasper Troy comes out of nowhere, attacks Javon, slams him against the shutter, and takes him out.
So that's what Lexus King was doing. He's getting it shined up for him to be thrown into.
So.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. I don't really get it. But yeah, I assumed we were going to go towards Jasper and Javon from like the last week of this stuff. So it does look like that's the direction we're going, even as fast as Great American Bash.
We go to our next match. It's Mike Santana and Joe Hendry, Team TNA, taking on the high rise of Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont. Did I get that the right way around?
You did. Yeah, you did.
Fuck yeah. With Wesley in their corner. So we go to the match, and there's a fall-away slam from Joe, and he does the pose, but instead of turning around to the camera, he's like staring at Santana. They're playing off that, like, we see a little thing earlier where they're like, hey, we don't necessarily get along, but we're on the same team here.
Can we coexist?
Tyson and Tyreek keep stopping Hendry from getting the tag to Santana. And during the match, we see backstage the Dungeon Dolls arriving. Were you aware of the Dungeon Dolls, Braden?
No, but I'm a fast learner, and I picked up quick of who they are now. Yes. Great.
Natalia and Maxine Dupree, the Dungeon Dolls.
Probably my new favorite tag team name.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's then a guillotine from Tyreek to Hendry, which Hendry powers out into a big vertical suplex. Pretty impressive considering the size of Tyreek. And then makes the hot tag to Santana, who hits like a back roll into a cutter. And then a tope con hilo to the outside, landing on the back of Tyson. This looked kind of scary here. Hendry then launches himself over the top rope as well. And then as Wesley is distracting the ref, Trick Williams takes out Hendry. Santana takes out Wes and then hits spinning the block for the win. His like rolling discus lariat on Tyson. So Santana picks up the win. But after the match, Trick comes in and takes out Santana with the Trick kick. Wes is beating down Santana, and then Tyson and Tyreek hold Hendry back as Trick hits him with the Trick shot. So continuing their feud into Slammiversary, where they will be having a triple threat for the TNA Championship.
So that is not this Saturday at Great American Bash. None of these guys are on the show, as far as we know right now. Yeah, they won't be. It's cool to see Santana. I think he's been fitting in real quick. As soon as he showed up in NXT, it was like, oh, wait a second. You fit in great here. And we've been saying, just as viewers of NXT over the last year and some change, yeah, best women's roster, this and that. But the men's roster has just been like lacking. It's been a shallow pool of like all the people. And if they're good, they leave pretty quickly. And there's just been reasons. I don't know why, but there's been reasons why the men's division just hasn't necessarily been cooking. And Santana is a great little addition in here to just, I don't know, freshen things up. I think the crowds are behind him. His wrestling is good. His promo has been good. So hopefully this is a start of something good. In fact, I probably have him win the title at Slammiversary, which is in a few weeks, I guess, leading up to it. So like, I'm not necessarily sold on High Rise and that Wes stuff. We're kind of a broken record on that. Like, it's just backwards. It's like, okay, Wes is now with these guys, and it's like,
the more I think about it, I wonder if they're just being cautious with Wes since his injury, because he wrestles, but it's not like he wrestles anywhere near as much as he used to. And they've got him in like this heel, almost manager role. And I just wonder if they're trying to protect him after that back injury, because it is odd. It's just really odd where Wesley is placed at the moment.
So yeah, like the Slammiversary, the TNA stuff, I can't say it's the most exciting for me, but I am looking on the positive side. And Santana, again, they're making that start. Like, if you know him from TNA and everywhere else, like, okay, you know he's pretty good, or you could be a fan of him, but finally seeing him here on a WWE show, it's like, oh wait, you fit in here really well, actually. So I hope that we can maybe go on maybe don't give him the TNA title, maybe we bring him into NXT, and Triple H, just buy TNA already. Stop with this this hotel cuck chair situation. Just fucking buy it. Just buy it so then you can figure out what to do with this and bring in Santana, your Iguana Mans, whoever you want. Just bring them all in like you're doing, and one big happy family, because it is muddying a little bit. Like, obviously, I'm not a TNA guy, but when they tell me that Trick, Joe, and Santana are going to wrestle at Slammiversary, that's not making me going to want to go buy that pay-per-view, even as the big TNA guy. It might for some people. For myself, it's just not. It's not good. If you did Oba, it's like, okay, well, that's your guy. But Trick has been someone as the project. It's it's working for Trick. It's going to help Trick, but it's not. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's the juice.
I mean, as far as TNA, I don't think there's a bigger match they can really do.
I guess
I wouldn't say Oba's the champ, but I wouldn't say that's any bigger than this. I think these are your two top TNA stars against Trick, who's been the right. I think so. I'd say Santana and Joe Hendry are the top baby faces in TNA at the moment. Like, it's cool for TNA fans, I think, and you might get maybe people that don't watch as much people that don't watch AEW but are into NXT and want something else to watch. Like, there's too much wrestling for us, so I'm probably not going to watch it. I'll check out this match because it's NXT adjacent.
Will you really?
What I mean?
Will you really?
I'd like to try. See,
you're lying to my damn face right now. Why are you lying?
There's 10 other shows booked for that weekend.
Of course. Yeah, you're not watching it. You're not. No, absolutely not. I think it's cool that we're getting crossovers with wrestling. It's just we're doing it at a point where all three of these characters are like don't seem like the big main event. And if you're telling me these are the biggest stars in TNA, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know about that. I think
TNA,
it's cool.
Though. Like,
I know.
I don't know. I completely disagree with just buy the company, because then you just kill it, and then where are all these people going?
That tape line.
Where are the other people on the show going?
You're totally right. You're totally right. Like, why buy another? It's just I think TNA is going on the up. I think that's pretty good. Wrestling in general is hot right now. When this is on NXT, I'm like, man, this isn't even promoting one of the 3 shows this week. This is promoting some 4 show. I was like, fuck off. I don't care at all. And that's just my opinion.
No, I know what you're saying. I think from the other point of view, it's getting sort of bigger names on this show, on this show of NXT. But yeah, especially when you've got all these other shows you're trying to promote. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
We then get a video package to promote the Inamora Oba Femi match with a lot of Japanese stars wishing their best for Yoshiki Inamora.
Oh my God. Yeah. The NXT debut, the Great Muda here on NXT. I lost my mind here.
You have the Great Muda here. You have Kiyomiya, Marufuji, Ulka Sasaki, Io Sky, and they're all saying that they want Inamora to be champion, and they're like, "Go get it, do this for us. You've got this." I thought this was pretty cool.
I mean, I was pretty nervous when I saw Great Muda. I was like, "Ooh, they're giving him a mic. Obviously, not a live mic, but like, hey, watch what you say, Great Muda. On this is a family show here. Please be careful."
He looks like he's being caught doing something pretty bad.
He always does. I love him. I love this man so much, but he is like, it's so. It took me off guard seeing the Great Muda on NXT. I'm not gonna lie. So it was pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised. Not only I was like, oh, Marufuji, and then I'm like, Kiyomiya. Oh, Kiyomiya, the dude, the Okada guy, the guy who, that thing, right? And then it never really went anywhere there. But I thought this was pretty cool. Like, why not? Obviously, the Noah tie-in with Inamura being from Noah, representing Noah, all these Japanese wrestlers being like, hey, you can do it. Go get the belt and everything. But Great Muda should just cut to Great Muda every week. The Great Muda cam, get his thoughts on the show. Do you think Great Muda watches NXT?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I loved it. I would want to see more Great Muda on NXT, but I thought this was a cute little video, getting some hype for Inamura. All the Japanese wrestlers being like, we believe in you. Bring the belt to Noah. That's what they said.
We then have a video from Dark State who say, any place, anytime. That includes TNA. Matt Cardona found out, and we see clips of them attacking Matt Cardona on TNA. They go, we got our hands in every cookie jar. And then Cutler James says, we should take a look at that tag title match. And they're holding a chair. say, a lot of people think they know what happened, but seeing isn't always believing. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Ain't nobody safe. Double negative there, meaning everyone is safe.
Everyone is safe.
Everyone is safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took this as them. They were claiming responsibility for the attack of Hank and Tank, which is
of course they
again what we assumed happened. But yeah,
these guys, like, we should just give them the titles. We should just make it something to make them so dominant. We're gonna get that way. They even say like, "Hey, those tag titles, Hank and Tank, be ready," and everything. But these guys, it's just such a copy paste. We've said it before. It's like you're just using the same stuff from all these other things in wrestling, and you're hiding these guys with the video, the way it's edited, like the Shield, like the glitchy, Solomon Crow, Ali hacker type shit. But then with the Shield and stuff, because go out there and cut a promo, all 4 of you at the same time, and see if you can do the same thing. Like, I don't know, like every time they're cutting these promos, it's like this. It's like these videos, and so far what we've seen, you're telling me, oh, we went to TNA and beat up again. I'm not the right person, but oh, look, we went and beat up Zack Ryder. I'm like, cool, like, great, excellent. What are you doing on this show? Oh, we're gonna go for okay. Maybe we should just had you come in and destroy Hank and Tank's run like week 1 and be like, we're not playing around. I think they're not necessarily a write-off, but since day 1, we were like, hey, what's the deal with these guys? And I don't think they necessarily had a roadmap for these guys.
It just keeps going cold. I think to the early days of the Shield, yes, they would cut videos like this, but I feel like they were wrestling. Well, once they had that first match, the TLC match, after that, I feel they were having 6-man tags all the time.
Yeah.
On Raw and SmackDown.
And they were good. And they were good.
And I think that's the thing. I think we've seen there is potential in people in this group. I think Saquon Sugars and what's his name? The bookworm guy.
Yeah.
Dion Sandals. Yeah, I think they've shown potential both in the promos. I think they sound the best, and in ring they've been the most interesting. But I always forget about these guys because they forget about them. They'll cut a promo 1 week, they'll have a match the next, and then they'll disappear for 3. And then they'll come back and cut another promo the same way. And I just think they need to be on more of a tear in ring. As you said, it's time to have an in-ring promo. It's time to just keep on getting those reps, keep on just killing people. And that's when you can be using, do a squash match with some of your evolved talent. Just 2-minute matches, just looking dominant, just having these guys be out there more because it's very repetitive every week.
Like, how do you feel if you're a TNA fan and you're going to a TNA show and then these guys come out and they do a big angle and you're like, okay, well, if I'm watching TNA, there's a chance I watch NXT, and you probably know who these guys are. And even then you're like, okay, well, you're just trying to get them over by using, I don't know. It's cool that there's the synergy, but I'm not the right person for this because I want these guys to like go forward, but we've been saying the same thing. Like, okay, well, since you've come in, it's stop, start. Is someone one of their leaders? No. It's none of that. It's just us, and we shield bomb people, and we want justice and whatever else the Shield used to say. So I don't think it's a write-off just yet, but maybe they kind of rushed it and then realized, oh, why did we do that? We weren't ready to use these guys properly just yet. But I do imagine a tag title run, Freebird rule with the 4 of them. I guess.
Why not?
Why not? Something like that. Yeah.
We go to our next segment. It's Josh Briggs, Inamora, and Oba Femi having a face-to-face. And Briggs is kind of being... Inamora speaks first. He says he beat Jasper Troy and he beat Trick Williams. And you will be my biggest challenge yet. And I'm ready. He says the fans support me. Briggs supports me. My friends and family back in Japan support me. I will make them proud, and I will be the next NXT champion. And Oba gets the mic and says, your friends and family will pick up the pieces when I beat you. You talk about honor, but the truth will prevail, and you're not worthy to take this title from me. So Briggs steps in and starts talking for his friend here. He says, did you not see what he did to Jasper Troy? he beat him easier than you did. And he's too honorable to say that at Bash of the Beach. Sorry, not Bash. What is it? Great American Bash. He will beat your ass because Inamora is a man of honor, but I am not. I am a man of mayhem, and I will do everything in my power to make sure he leaves as champion because this is our only chance. Oba tells him that it's not his fight. He tells Briggs to get out of his face before he breaks it. And then Briggs strikes first. He punches Oba. They're brawling. Oba sends Briggs to the outside. And then Inamora, like Hogan slamming Andre, picks up Oba, slamming him in the middle of the ring.
Whoa. This was weird because as soon as Briggs like took charge and grabbed the microphone, the NXT crowd here let him have it. They just booed him to, you could barely hear him talk. In fact, I'm surprised he didn't get thrown off. He like took a second to like realize that they're really booing him and they're really loud, but I don't know if it's booing because of the storyline or I don't know what that came out of nowhere.
Well, I think that's where it's hard in this arena as well, because it only takes like
people.
5 people who doesn't like someone and it sounds loud. I quite enjoyed this, and actually this cast more doubt in my mind on this match than I had before, because it was because of what Briggs said. He said like he will do anything. So I'm wondering if we could have a bit of a shock where Briggs kind of cheats on behalf of Inamora without Inamora realizing, and Inamora gets the title, perhaps, or something. Like, I think we're heading towards a Briggs heel turn.
Yeah.
It looks like, I think.
I don't know. That sounds crazy. That sounds that Oba's going to lose to Inamora, and that's no slight to Inamora. I think since being here in NXT, he's actually been a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Some great wrestling. Love that splash. He wasn't wearing his vest here tonight. He dressed like a champion, and then his bum of a friend is dressed like Sons of Anarchy or whatever. But I think Briggs is going to cost Inamora the match and then beat the shit out of Inamora after, and then we'll go to that match. And unfortunately, the best friends, I think, are going to come to an end. But I don't think Inamora is going to get the title. I think that's a little far-fetched.
I feel we'll have something where Briggs tries to cheat for, and maybe it's Inamora stopping Briggs.
Yeah.
That Briggs then decks him and costs him the match, or something like that. But I think some sort of progression. You know, we want Briggs to break out. I think we need some other top stars in this division. And sure, if he can have a little feud with Inamora and then maybe go on to challenge Oba down the line. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly actually where I was going to say is like, I would actually have Briggs go full heel, whether he inadvertently costs him the title or whatever. And then down the line, we go heel Briggs versus Oba Femi. I'm like, that should be a big, this one here, Inamora and Oba, easily the most intriguing match on this PLE this Saturday, because I'm not expecting Inamura to win the title. I think how does it work if you can gamble on wrestle? I wouldn't know, but the one side leaning on the other, it's like Oba would clear this guy, because half the people who don't even watch NXT half the time don't know who Inamura is. So they're gonna be like, oh wait, who's this person? Okay. If you don't watch week to week, obviously you would know who he is, but I do think this will be the match of this show. Like, two big Haas guys. I'm expecting some hard-hitting stuff. I'm not expecting a title change here, but I am expecting Briggs to turn heel on him. It sounded like he already did, because he stepped in for his friend. Like, oh, wait, let me talk for you, because you're Japanese. Let me talk. It's like, no, boo. Everyone's booing him. That's the start to this heel run again. Hey, buddy, welcome to America. In America, yeah, we wear vests here. And Inamura's like, I really don't do that, actually. And I don't know. I think,
come on. He loves the vest.
He wasn't wearing it here. So he'll wear it for the entrance of his match. And then Briggs will spit on it and throw it at him by the end of the night, I guess. It's, I actually didn't really like this segment, but I'm like pretending it didn't happen because I just want to see these guys wrestle. I am genuinely excited to see what Oba and Inamura can do, because I think they're going to chop the shit out of each other. But I didn't like Briggs being like the let me interrupt my friend and like talk. I think it was done on purpose. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. I found it interesting. I thought it added a layer of more interest into this match, and it's taken it from feeling like something that would just be on the TV show weekly, like a weekly challenger, to I thought it added a little bit more stakes, at least for me, and a little more intrigue of where they're going to go with it.
That's the problem, I think. I'm trying to tell myself, like, is the Oba reign just another, like, okay, we don't have anyone, so we're going to go with one of the guys from Quarter Catch Crew. Okay, we don't have anyone, we're going to take tag team dude from Noah. It's just kind of like there hasn't been a full-on juicy story or rivalry since, I guess, the Trick stuff, and even that wasn't the most exciting. So I'm like, maybe we need like a bigger, better foe for Oba Femi, Fee-Fi Fo Fum. But I guess Briggs is going to be the one going for the SummerSlam PLE, like Heatwave. I guess that would be the match.
We go forward to the Glamour workout. Yes. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, and gonna have a bit of a spa day. Blake says, you've been training your body all the time. You need to relax and take care. And we see them going for massages. They're wearing like the classic white bathrobes, which Grace rips the sleeves off of.
Nice touch.
As she's getting a massage, she asks if they're going to start yet, because clearly not going deep enough. Yeah, I hate a tickly massage. Like, if you're going to give me a massage, get right in there. None of this like, And
I thought you were going to say you hated this, and you're just saying that. Yeah,
I'll get there. They then get their makeup done, and Grace like looks at herself after it's done, and she goes, "Wait, isn't this what I always look like?" And Monroe goes, "Yes, but isn't this more fun?" And Jordan kind of agrees. She's like, you know what? This was a good idea. I feel relaxed. I feel good. And first we'll beat Fatal Influence at the Bash, and then I beat JC Jane at Evolution.
Yeah, it's wrestling. It's silly, but they're going to the nail salon on a wrestling show, but it's okay. I think Blake still has the like comedy timing character chops. It's definitely Grace that I'm like, okay, I haven't necessarily seen you do a lot of acting, so I guess that's why we're doing these things, to see and help you practice this kind of stuff. Not that I think maybe we'd go back to a nail salon on a WWE show, but never say never. So I didn't care for this, but it's wrestling, so it's silly. I'm like, all right, better than seeing them in the gym all the time. There's so many like the no quarter catch crews and your diamond. Everyone's always working out. It's like, oh, actually, we're just gonna go get our nails done. So really, Jordan Grace should be pinned in this tag match to show that you didn't train hard enough because you went and got your nails done instead. I don't know. I don't want to just shit on
I just find it lazy. It's the same thing. Yeah. Or like, how many times have we seen this very same segment since we've been covering this show? Like, the makeover segment. I agree. You want these people to be doing skits and things to like improve their acting or whatever, but I'm sure there's something you can get your teeth into a bit more than let's go for a massage. And it just doesn't make me want to watch these people wrestle.
No, it does. Like, anyone changing the channel would be like, this is a wrestling
show?
What is
it? Like, who is this for? Who came out of this show and went, you know what, that nail salon, that massage spa day thing, I can't wait for Great American Bash now. Because did you see, she's relaxed, she's ready to go. I can't wait to watch the fight. Like, I don't know. It's just bad. It's lazy. It's opening that book of wrestling trope stories and going, oh yeah, let's do this one again. They'll forget that we had a makeover between Gigi and Ariana Grace a year ago. We'll forget that we had Tiffany Stratton and Fallon Henley doing the same thing. We'll forget that, it's how many times have we done this?
It's not even just that. It's literally, like I said earlier, the EO Zoe Stark thing. Like, anytime you get two characters or people that aren't similar, it's like, okay, now the funny thing is like, now she's gonna talk about makeup and she's gonna not want to do it, and then in the end she's gonna say I did it. It's not the fun stuff of wrestling that we sure like. I want character development, but And I don't want to be like, oh well, in AEW, Mariah May was doing this, but already week 2, 3, whatever it is, I'm feeling like a much watered down version of what we were getting from her. Like
it's just
this
bad
felt,
writing. It's bad
yeah,
writing.
it's the writing,
bad
right?
directing,
Yeah,
bad producing, bad
Yeah.
acting. It's the lot.
I don't want to just go, oh, the nail salon segment was the drizzling shits, because like whatever, but it's not what I like when I watch my wrestling shows, but it could have been good. There could have been funny one-liners in there. I've seen Mariah May be funny before, very funny before, but just this was a little head scratch. It's head scratching. We're going to that tag match for me for Great American Bash. First of all, like, okay, you've told us that Jordan Grace is getting the Evolution match, which is the Sunday, so you don't want to do Blake Monroe with this. It just, I don't know. Is Blake turning? Is Jordan walking out of Evolution champion? I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Blake's not even going to be on Evolution, I guess.
I don't think we'll be getting an angle at Great American Bash before the match. I think maybe at Evolution or the NXT after, but
Blake could help
I just
Jordan
see
win
this
on
being
Evolution.
the tag. I could see Grace maybe getting the pin on JC in the tag and not winning the title. I don't know. I don't know which way they're going to go.
Jordan loses on Sunday, so she's mad at Blake because I was supposed to be in the gym shooting and you were getting my nails done. I don't know. It's not the best build, but like I said, I'm super high on Jordan Grace. Like, all you need to do is watch her wrestle, watch her make her entrance, and you're like, who is this like monster? And then here she's in the salon, so it's like, oh man, like I just want to see you throw people. I don't see you fight dudes, man. Like, I just it did the opposite of if this was supposed to get me excited for a wrestling match this weekend. It was not it.
We go to our next match. Kehani Jordan taking on Laney Reed. And yeah, obviously this one was set up earlier in the night. Reed charges at Kehani immediately, but gets taken down, and Kehani just sort of bows to her, mocking her. There's a monkey flip and drop kick from Kehani, sending Laney out the ring. Laney comes back with a big spine buster, and then there's a single Boston Crab applied from Laney, and Kehani's using her flexibility with the other leg to kind of kick at Laney to try and break it. So Reed grabs the leg and sits down into a full Boston Crab, which Kehani is crawling towards the corner and then uses the power of her legs to flip Laney Reed out, and she goes headfirst into the turnbuckle. This is where we see Zelina Vega show up backstage. We get a wasteland delivered from Kehani, goes for the one-of-the-kind moonsault, but Laney blocks it by grabbing the leg, and they're fighting on the top. Kehani knocks Laney off the turnbuckle, and this looked super impressive.
Yeah.
She stood facing Laney Reed on the second turnbuckle and jumps right to the top into the split-legged moonsault, like a twisting jump, and hits the one-of-a-kind, pinning Laney Reed. But incredible finish here.
Yeah, definitely a one of a kind is the right move. Obviously the RVD shout out, but like the way she did that to balance and do that move, like to completely be in an opposite facing direction is baffling. But yeah, really impressive finish there from Kehani Jordan. I think this was you said earlier, like, hey, when are we going to get Kehani? Like, pretty dominant win over the newbie here of Laney Reed, who I don't mind either. Like, so far she's been a pretty like arrogant heel. I selfishly really like Laney's theme song. It's like a cowboy trap song or something. I don't know. It sounded cool. I think she was pretty good, but like there's a few things that we're already cooking with in NXT that I don't think we have time to just necessarily go in and focus on her right yet. So I think this is the right spot for her, but I still didn't see I still haven't in the last few weeks enough of Laney to be like, oh, we should do this. But I think a project down the line will be Kehani going for some sort of gold again in NXT. But a quick match, I didn't think too much of it. Minus that Starship Pain one of a kind thing. That was some serious heat right there.
Yeah, I'm finding Laney pretty forgettable at the moment. I don't see it quite yet with her. But I did think Kehani looked very good here. Mm-hmm. After the match, Thea Hale takes out Laney Reed because Laney cheated in their match the other week. So they're brawling to the back. We see Javon, who's being checked on backstage by trainers when Jasper Troy attacks him again. This was very Braun Strowman. I'm not finished with you yet, wasn't it?
With his chains.
Yes. And then we go to, what did they call this? The final sit down. The final sit down.
The final sit down
between the family.
The talkie talk. The final sit down.
Yeah.
Is it the final sit down though? You're telling me these guys are never ever going to sit down in their life ever?
No,
again?
they're not together. Not together. Yeah. So we had.
Okay. Like I swear I'm going to be positive on this one, but why didn't you do it in the restaurant? Why was it just some random Dollarama table backstage in some weird thing? We've never actually ever seen you sit in the back area. Is it because it's common ground? Because you're all like not trusting each other?
Maybe it's Tony's restaurant, right? Like it's
right.
It's maybe
is it Tony's restaurant?
No, but it's his. You know, it's like if I called a meeting and it was at Wide Open, it would be like, okay, well, come on, that's not fair.
Right,
here,
right.
That's your spot. Your regulars, your bar staff. You know.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah. If you know when you date someone and you bring them to a bar and then you don't see them anymore, they can't go to that bar.
No,
that's my bar. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, I understand now.
So we have the return of Rizzo, who's brought them in together here, and says that yeah, she's like, I brought you here together because we're gonna figure this out. Tells them to sit down. She's taken control of this, and she says, I wasn't going to be in hiding forever. I called this final sit down. None of you would have shown up if I told you the others were going to be here, but I've been watching you all lose focus. And she goes, you brought me in, Luca, and don't you remember all the good times we had in the restaurant, the championships you won, and you destroyed it all. And I told you in Vegas to sit everyone down. She's saying this to Tony, to sit everyone down, and you didn't do it. So there's no saving us. And there's one last piece of family business that needs to be done. Stacks, you think you deserve better. Luke, every time you sign a document, you wonder if Tony has your best interest. And Tony, you're always going to wonder if someone else is going to stab you in the back. Well, once trust is broken, it will never work. And I did what I had to do and got you a triple threat next week. And I don't know if your paths will ever cross again, but as far as family business, this is the final battle. And Tony calls both Luca and Stacks rats. And Stacks says he's bigger than both of them now as he is the champion. And Luca says he needs to stay away from Stacks and step out as Tony's shadow if he's ever going to be anything in NXT. And so the match is set for next week. Triple threat, the final battle between the family.
The final battle?
Yes.
The final sit down, the final battle. Yeah, I think it was a weird thing to do. And this whole thing is weird, but we've been saying, wait for the big, don't worry, Rizzo will fix this thing. She'll just have this big like return and everything. It's like, hey, so I've set this meeting up for you guys. It's like, oh, okay. So there's your big return. I don't know. I've also just looked at her Twitter. Now, this could be kayfabe or this could be a shoot, brother. But Adriana Rizzo, the end of an era, being part of the D'Angelo family is a chapter of my life I'll cherish forever. We laughed, fought, celebrated, and ends with, we set off on our own paths, and I'll carry the memories, lessons, and bonds. La familia per sempre. So, family done for real then? Or is she playing us? And I still think they're all not with Tony, because Stacks sits down here like, oh, how do I know I'm not being set up here? I've seen The Departed. I think I know where this is going. I'm still gonna say that they all turn on Tony and they all align. If not, I still don't care about. I want this mafia thing to be over with. I think I'm done with my mafia storyline. I want Tony to go to the main roster. I don't know if we're gonna get the family going, but where do you think this goes?
I actually like this a lot more than you. I think as far as like backstage segments go, like this made sense for their characters whilst building to a match. And that was my issue with the fucking spa. Like, it didn't make me care. Here, it is that kind of, as we said, neutral ground. It's, hey, we're not going to have any fight. Like, leave your guns at home. We're going to talk this out. We're going to, you know, like you see in mob films and stuff. But I've actually been quite impressed with Luca on his acting the last few weeks. I think he comes across quite well. I actually think all 4 of these come quite well in the acting department. And the line that made me had me interested was, I don't know if our paths will cross again. I do think we're getting Tony getting called up soon. So I think it could be potentially his write-off from NXT. Maybe we see Rizzo align with Stacks or align with Luca to choose who the winner is. I agree it was a bit of an anticlimactic return for Rizzo. But I didn't hate this, and I'm glad we're finally getting to the match. I like it. I like how Luca's kind of stepped out on his own a bit the last couple of weeks, and I think this is going to be kind of the end after next week. Maybe we'll have Luca and Stacks continue a bit of a feud, but I do see. I think Tony's moving up after this.
I think he should. I think this is beyond run its course. Like it feels like it's gone on a year too long now at this point. Like I think it was funny putting people in the trunk, sleep with the fishes, and then the second year, and then the third. It's like, okay, I think it's time to try this gimmick on the main roster. Like Tony as a solo act, eventually bring in the family if we need to. They said, hey, maybe down the line. So maybe you're right. Maybe Stacks can be the new dawn of NXT, where Tony can be the dawn of, I don't know, Friday nights or something. But the question was, how will he fare? I think he's an okay enough wrestler. You don't need to be a good wrestler to be on Raw or SmackDown. You need to be a good character. I think he's got that at least. So I don't know. We need Tony D'Angelo debut, New Jersey SummerSlam.
Yeah,
attack someone and manje, and there you go. Money will be made. You just need a hot shirt, a hot Italian mobster shirt, and you're good.
You could do, and they haven't done this for years, but they used to do it all the time, where you build this guy up in vignettes, starting right after Great American Bash. Start on Raw or SmackDown. Some vignettes for Tony D'Angelo. He's having his debut match at SummerSlam. It can be a open challenge kind of thing. Get him out there in New Jersey, do a bit of character stuff on the mic, and then have a quick match. Like it's a 2-show event. I think you could do, we had Randy Orton, Joe Hendry in a quick 5-minute thing. Like you build him up, you build up the New Jersey Mafia Italian American thing enough in the next month, building up SummerSlam. It could be a good debut for him, or at least the Raw after, or something.
Yeah. Even the Raw after is fine. I think if he's run its course, they've tried a lot with him here. They tried to have him go for the main title. He's been North American champion. Like it's just like what we're really stretching this a little thin here. And I think if you want Stacks and Luca and Rizzo, even including all 3 of them, to advance and go anywhere and move and evolve, we can't just keep doing the same. Like, okay, Mafia meeting, this and that. Like, I'm definitely sick of that. So I think it would be a good idea to try to put Tony on the main roster. Like, why not? Why not do this gimmick? And Mafia with a bit more money behind it, like not just eating shitty pasta at a Florida restaurant, it could work, I think.
We see Jasper Troy in the ring, who says he's done with Javon Evans, so make it a triple threat for the NXT title. I was a bit like, what? Huh? Sorry, you've been attacking Javon. You lost last week. Like, no. And then Javon comes out of nowhere, taking out Jasper Troy with his cutter, and then takes everyone out on the outside with a big dive. And there was a little snafu here as they kind of played his music and then stopped his music and then played it again. I imagine we're getting...
we are. It's official now.
It's been official now, Jasper Troy and Javon?
Yeah, they've announced it for Saturday. So Jasper versus Javon, 1-on-1. So, cool. I mean, Javon has been like, he's so young, but been a bit of a staple here in the last year of NXT. Like, he's kind of the measuring stick. So we'll see how good Jasper is. If you can have a good, like, this guy will bump around and fly around you. He's going to make you look good. So I'm hoping that is the case. I'm really high on Javon, but can't say this like this. I don't know. Jasper hasn't showed me anything with his chains and stuff quite yet. So maybe this is
you got to stop talking about the chains, man.
I think he's got to. He's got to get fucking rid of them because they suck. I think I think he should steamroller Javon here, maybe, if they want to continue this I'm going for the champion type thing. But like we keep saying, hey, we need some big guns in NXT. We need men on this roster. We need some good characters. And they're trying, like, hey, this guy won what, LFG, right? It's like, hey, this guy's a big dude and he won this. It's like, okay. And then we kind of saw him. It wasn't necessarily the most he came off kind of green in the match with Oba, right? So it was like, okay, like it wasn't as bad as maybe
the Oba match was pretty fun for what it was. Yeah.
So it's like he's still new here. I think this will be another like match to show what he can do, because I mean he's just got to throw Javon around. So yeah, hopefully it's pretty fun. Hopefully.
We go to our tag team championship match. Hank and Tank defending against the Culling, and as I'm just getting the graphic there. They misdirect Vance originally to kind of take him out as they're running the ropes. And then we get, sorry, I lost my place here. Tank gets on top of Hank with a big splash on top. We mentioned earlier, but I thought this was the best gear they had with the
USA.
I think the baseball jerseys are working for them, and the shorts, they look nice here. They look good in white, I guess. There's a bulldog from Hank to Vance, and then Hank kind of does the Cody walk on the outside, the swing in the arms, but Izzy and Tatum get in his way, and which distracts him and allows Vance to pounce Hank over the table. We then get
into Booker T.
Yeah,
Booker T taking he was so pissed. Booker T, it must be a rib at this point, just to like try to disrupt Booker. The crowd start to chant, "You hit Booker," which he then played it off like that's fine. But yeah, I was nervous for them there. I thought Booker was going to get involved. The last few times people have touched Booker, he does not make it. He's not shy about saying that. So I was expecting him to go off. He didn't really.
After the break, Tank is taking out everyone and hits a big tope suicida to the outside, almost getting caught up in the ropes. Tatum then distracts the ref as Tank is sent into the boot of Izzy Dane, and there's an Impaler DDT from Spears, but Tank kicks out, and then we see Zaruka come out, who fight off Tatum and Izzy, taking them to the back, and then Hank and Tank fire up. They pull their tops off. They do the honk honk splash to Vance, but Spears pushes Vance out the way, sacrificing himself. Vance gets sent out the ring, and then we get the running power slam headbutt combo to Spears for the win.
You said Hank and Tank were wearing white. Is it because they knew they were going to be busted open on this match?
Yeah, because Spears was covered in blood as well. And I
think it was Tank's blood.
Was it Tank's blood? Was it from the right?
I don't know. His face had all this blood on the side of it after the match when they were celebrating. I was like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah, but there was a lot on Spears back of his head as well. So
I think it was from. Yeah, I don't know where. I think it was from Tank. I think it was him leaking.
I think it might have been the splash, like the honk honk. I think he kind of just collided, like headbutted Hank maybe with it. But
yeah, damn. Yeah, Hank and Tank are fun. They have these fun matches, and they definitely stepped up to where they were. I think maybe the Culling isn't the most exciting team, but they're trying something with Nico. We lost who was in the Culling again? Brooks Jensen, and we lost him, but they're clearly going to try to focus a little bit more on just Nico and just Izzy. And commentary here, I mean, the storyline of this is Spears shoves him out of the way to take the honk honk and to take the pin and everything, right?
Which was a bit silly because Spears was the legal man. So, yeah.
But they pinned him, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a fun match, and that's kind of what Hank and Tank have kind of been known for. I still will say Tank is the one who like impresses me. Like he's the one who's bleeding at the end of this match, but his suicide dive, you said he almost like trips on it. Like his dive as he jumps and like turns his body in midair. It's just like a cannonball being shot out of a cannon. I think that's one of the most impressive things anyone can do. And he's totally stepped up. So little by little, like I like these guys. It's just, we really don't have any other tag teams. I can't say I'm too invested into the Culling, even though they're kind of trying, but for the most part, like they still have fun, decent little tag team matches. And I do think their run needs to just end with Dark State taking the titles because we don't have literally any other teams in NXT for them to have, let alone a match, but like a rivalry, a feud with a story with. So this was fine. It didn't necessarily go any longer than I thought, but I guess there was that hope spot where you thought, was it off one of the big moves where it's like they won't take the titles off them for the Culling, will they?
Yeah, it was the Izzy interference.
Yeah, I was like, come on, they wouldn't do that, and they didn't. But yeah,
I actually quite enjoyed this. I think Hank and Tank have come a long way, and I actually am really starting to enjoy their matches. They have just such a great pace they work at. Everything's just a sprint, which for the size of them, that they kind of fall into that heavy machinery category of just like big fun guys. But I think they're more talented than they ever were as a team. Like they've got a lot of personality. The hot tags always do well. The tag moves, I could actually see them working on the main roster, which is something I never thought I'd say, especially about Hank when he started. But I think they're looking better. The gear's looking better. They've got a good connection with the audience. And Spears didn't do a whole lot here. This was really trying to showcase Vance. And I thought he came across well. He's another like big bloke with explosive strength. And I thought it worked. And I'm glad he was more the focus of this match with the other two. Because, yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. So, yeah, as I say, there's not really much more of a division beyond this. So where do you go? I guess Dark State is the destination, but there's not a whole lot else in NXT right now in the tag division. Would like to see them try to build up some more teams, put some people together who are kind of lost and doing single stuff.
Scared, yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying earlier. It's like we lost Miles and Tavion, who like I would have had them as our tag champions. Like they were amazing in some of the matches we've seen them as a team, and that ship has sailed. Obviously, we lost Fraxium from the run they've had in the last little while. They were holding down the fort. Where's Idris and Malik? Where's like
I think they're on Evolve this week, or at least Idris and Ofe was on Evolve. I don't know if Malik is injured or what's going on there.
Like we have Inamora who's spinned off from the tag team into the singles title thing. Like, and I don't even think we have any other tag teams in this show. So yeah, this is bottom of the barrel tag teams when we're doing these things. But maybe we bring some people in, like you said. Maybe we do some people put together. Let's go to the Dusty Cup again. Let's get some tag teams together that we're not necessarily. What are they doing? Oh, let's put them together, and maybe it'll work or something. Someone in the chat, Job Knobley in the chat saying OTM. That's another team. High Rise, I guess. I hate all these teams, to be honest. I don't like a lot of these teams right now. But Fraxium was the same thing. It was like Fraxium for a whole year was this lit tag team, and then you'd get thrown random people. But sometimes the ones like when we first got Tavion and Miles teaming together, you're like, oh, okay, wait, this is pretty good. So I kind of think it's a shame we got away from those two specifically. But I do imagine Dark State's the next step. I'm not sure where we go when they lose those titles. We probably have the SummerSlam PLE Heat Wave. Maybe that's where that match takes place.
We see Kale Dixon, who is backstage, in like the doctor's room, freaking out as he's having his blood pressure checked. And he's saying that he can't feel his arm. And Andre Chase tells Uriah to stop pumping. It's true. Have you had your blood pressure done, like with these armband things?
Yeah. Well, not in a while, but I always remember as a kid going into the store and trying to fucking play with it.
Man, when I was sick recently after my holiday and they did this, like I was so weak as it was. And I felt for Kale here. Like you are like, hey, can you stop with that on my arm? Because you just feel it like stopping your blood.
Just the way they sold this, though, before they even cut to the trainer's room, they're like, guys, Kale Dixon was supposed to wrestle tonight, but unfortunately he had an injury. And I was like, what? Take my life, but don't take Kale Dixon off NXT, only to learn, oh, it's a joke injury. Okay, he's fine.
So he's essentially having a panic attack and is freaking out. And Chase goes, okay, you don't have to do this. Don't worry about tonight. We'll figure this out together. And he leaves, and Uriah and Kale Dixon kind of have a look at each other, maybe that this was part of the plan. So they're trying to get Andre Chase to move away from the tough love thing and be like more understanding and have a more empathetic view of doing things, but essentially getting themselves out of a match in doing so.
So I was just asking you, what other tag teams do we have in NXT? Chase U 3.0 right here at this point. So hopefully we get them towards tag title gold. I don't know.
And then we go to the main event segment. Ava is in the ring talking about Evolution, and she talks about the matches on the first one, how we had the last woman standing match, Ronda Rousey, Nikki Bella, blah, blah, blah. And then announces that the NXT competitors in the Battle Royal, and the winner of the Battle Royal will go on for a women's title shot at Clash in Paris, will be Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. When Fatal Influence come out and they say that the focus should be on them and the fact that JC is having this title match, Jordan Grace comes out saying JC is running her mouth again and says that Evolution is a revolutionary event, but JC doesn't make it special. And it's the women who paved the way that made it special. Lash Legend comes out and says, you can keep fighting over the NXT Women's Championship, but I will be the talk of Evolution, and I will win it in my hometown of Hotlanta and go to Clash in Paris and win the Women's Championship. And then to a huge reaction, Stephanie Vaquer returns to NXT, says it's amazing to be back and that she will go on to be Women's Champion. You then have Natalia and Maxine who come out and
the dungeon dollies. Yeah.
Say Paris may be the fashion capital of the world, but it will also be where one of us will be champion, and we will be there as the final two, staring at each other in the eye until one of us wins. And then we get Jada Parker, Ivy Nile, Lola Vice, Selena Vega. They're all coming out, and Jada saying that she will step in a battleground at Evolution and be on point. And then Julia is there as well, I believe. That all the women are out there, and they start to brawl, and everyone is fighting except for Izzy and Tatum, who are just stood on the stage laughing.
So in a
horrible segment.
Yeah, in a nutshell, this was Ava saying, hey, everyone, this is all the people we don't know what to do with. So we're just going to throw you in a match and you're going to fight. You know what? It kind of worked okay for them in the first Evolution with that. I can't believe I was going to say it. Nia Jax winning. We just reviewed it. So it wasn't half bad, even on rewatch all these years later. It was fun, and you got everyone in it. What sucks is just the laziness, not only of this segment, because holy shit, was this a lazy segment. Ava starting off by saying, yeah, the last time Evolution was a thing, I was in high school and I was watching, and now I get to be a part of it. Okay, well, how are you a part of it? Are you wrestling in this show? She says, I'm the first women GM, and people are like, fuck yes, finally a woman GM in NXT. And then to throw to this thing, I just feel we get this all the time, whether it's men, women, like, okay, there's gonna be this big fight, everyone just fight. How silly did it look that Julia, who is, I believe, a champion, right?
Yeah, just won the IC title, and she's the US title, right? And
she's just like, wait, what?
She's just there as a nobody, like not even.
Stephanie Vaquer, one of the biggest, like you would imagine she's winning this thing because like she's just randomly in a battle royal. Like I feel like that's such a waste of some of these women on this card. Like so, if you're counting all these people who got in a big schmoz fest here, it's like there's a bunch of them, and I imagine they're all going to be in this battle royal. And like I said, like only a Stephanie could really. You see winning this because
we'll get some surprises. We've got Nikki Bella's in there as well. There's other main roster talent who didn't come out who will be in this as well. But yeah, I just thought this was so lazy, and it's for a battle royal at the end of the day. And
your go home segment for this week of like Great American Bash and Evolution, and it was just like, hey, random ladies are gonna fight because there's a battle royal.
I'd have preferred more like just 20-second promos, like talking head promos throughout the show, scattered by women who are going to be in it.
I guess they tried it with like Natalia and Dupree there, but I don't know. I was pretty bummed by like we were already like, at least myself, like, oh, I think the build is kind of weird for not just Bash, but for Evolution, and then you go and do this, like the most like mundane, easiest way to write this off. I don't know. You could have done so many more creative things, especially with the people involved, like Stephanie Vicaire, Julia. You're saying you're going to bring in some other of, like, if you do add Nikki Bella to this, like, I don't know. I didn't necessarily think it's making me run to go watch this Sunday. It feels like they just don't care about this show. That's what it feels like as a viewer. As a viewer, it feels like this isn't an important show. You can watch it on Monday.
I mean, really, you should. The big match from NXT is JC versus Jordan Grace.
So and why are we talking about that?
Like, that should have been the go home segment. It should have. Instead, you've got JC, who they're drumming home that this is the most beatable champion, which is kind of making me think that she might retain.
She's retaining.
I think so.
There's no build to this story. I thought this was weak. I didn't particularly like this episode. I enjoyed some of the wrestling this week. I liked Charlie and Tavion. I quite enjoyed the tag match we had later in the night, and the Gauntlet was pretty fun. But I kind of hated everything in between. I found it so lazy. I found it so flick through the book and pick what wrestling story we're going to revive for the 600th time. I thought the rest was pretty bad. You know, right before earlier today, I wanted to make sure I watched last week's episode just to make sure I was kind of caught up on everything. Shout out Cino Evil and B Detroit for filling in on what up next last week. But I wanted to watch and just make sure I'm caught up in everything for today. And I thought that of last week's episode. I was like, oh, this is a pretty bad build for these shows. And then in my brain, I'm like, okay, it'll get better when I watch this week's. And then I really
last week's was taped and felt taped.
Yeah. This felt taped. This episode felt more taped.
It did.
You had all these backstage segments that weren't there. You had the nail salon. You had the meeting. You just had random people come out at the end. This felt like a canned show, and it wasn't. So that's really a head scratcher. I'd say one of my least favorite NXTs in quite a long time.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a wrestling match that I'd say did it for me on this one. I'm really hoping, and I do honestly think there will be some banging matches from this weekend, but out of a while, the PLE builds and cycles, as we call them, this one feels like the least important when it's maybe you should, but there's 3 shows.
Absolutely no need for there to be an NXT show this weekend.
No.
You could have branded next Tuesday as the Great American Bash and just done this all on next Tuesday as a big TV thing.
You said it, brother.
And maybe on a standalone weekend, try somewhere at a weekend at a nice size venue that NXT can run. But doing it this weekend, it's hurting these guys, right? As well. It's no one's gonna watch this show.
People will, of course, but
you know what I mean. It's it's setting them up for failure, and it's a shame.
Yeah, I'd say least buzz going into a PLE in quite a long time for this NXT show, and I'm really hoping we get some. The more we look down on it, when you go watch it and it delivers, you're gonna be like, wow, that was such a surprise. It really got me, and I'm really hoping that's what happens. I mean, we got Oba Femi and Yoshiki Inamora, and we kind of said it. Both big guys. They should be chopping the shit out of each other, body slamming each other. We're gonna get some fucky finish with Josh Briggs there, but I'm hoping we get a decent match out of this. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it and say the Oba thing is kind of boring me. The rinse, reuse, recycle of just okay, now you're gonna face this guy from a tag team. Now you're gonna fight. We just don't have any other people. We brought in Ricky Starks to feud for the mid-card title. So it's okay, well, I just don't know. It's not the most exciting run for me right now, but I do hope that match absolutely slaps. And I do know that you might be the one person on this earth that thinks Inamura is going to walk out as champion. So you're going to ride that wave. You're going to put 2 feet forward, Davey, and you're going to say that you think Inamura is winning the title.
No.
No, I like it more. I liked it more than
I said. I thought this segment did a good job of making me think he could.
Right.
A week ago, I think
when he wins, everybody.
They planted that seed of doubt in my mind.
No, I kind of like it. You got to stick to your guy.
Sure, he's winning the title. He's winning
he's winning the title. He's winning the title.
He's walking out of Evolution as the Battle Royal winner, and will go on a Clash of Paris to beat Io Shirai. That's what's happening.
Like quickly here. I'll run down the rest of the card because they have filled it out now. There's 5 matches announced. Maybe they'll add another. Who knows? Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, meaning JC and Fallon with Jasmine. What happens here?
Whoever loses wins the next night.
with 0 heat going into the match for Evolution, I don't know how you could have this big moment with Jordan Grace winning, because there wasn't even mention of it really. She went and got her nails done because she's getting ready for this tag match. So what? Very bizarre. I'm going to say the exact same thing because that's totally what's going to happen. But
yeah,
I'll go with Grace and Monroe. Monroe getting her first win in her first match. Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame for the North American Championship Women's.
Sol Ruka.
Going with Sol Ruka as well, who will also be wrestling on Evolution. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints Falls Count Anywhere match for the Men's North American Championship. Ethan is the champion.
I could see it going back to Ricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of do too. I feel like the loser should leave NXT though.
Yeah,
like we need someone to go do something else because they have been beefing over this. And if you give it to Ricky, he can go on this run and then eventually get to the main men's title. I'm not quite sure. The last time these guys fought, I really liked it. The last time Ricky's had some big matches and moments. Ethan Page too is actually I'm way more into the second Ethan Page NXT run than the first one.
Yes,
and I'm kind of liking the Vanity Project stuff as well. So I imagine they might show up in Atlanta too. And Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans. Our 5th.
Javon.
Yeah, me too. Or maybe it's just not his time yet. They want to keep bearing him down until finally he's the guy that has to slay the dragon of Oba Femi. But is that going to be WrestleMania? So is Oba going to keep this?
Yeah, you need Oba to be a proper heel though at that point, I think.
Yeah,
for it to actually mean something.
So there you go. Those are the 5 matches that are announced. We're recording this obviously Tuesday night. They could add something. I don't know if they necessarily will, but there you go. That's your Great American Bash card for you this Saturday. If you are crazy enough to choose that as what you'll be watching on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, sort of, kind of. Hey, apples, oranges. You want to watch Jasper Troy? All power to you. I will be watching, just not Saturday afternoon, because we'll be watching at some point. But there you go. That's your Great American Bash card. Do we have any feedback to read before we kind of maybe talk about Evolution?
I thought I put up a thread, but I can't see anything. So
it's gone. No, it's disappeared. It's okay. So that's Saturday. Then we have Saturday night's main event XL, and you know why it's XL, Davey? Because it's got 3 matches announced. Goldberg versus Gunther. This will be Goldberg's retirement match. That's what it says. Do you believe that to be true? It is Atlanta though, so it's like just one and done. Be done with it.
I'm interested how they're gonna do this, because if it is his last match, we know it's probably not gonna go long, but they want him to go out like. You can't have him just go out as a chump, He can't just lose in 4 minutes and then wave. And so I am intrigued what they're going to do with this.
Gunther puts him in the sharpshooter and taps him out.
Yeah.
Kicks him in the head. Something like that.
I think Gunther does win, but they're going to have to find a way to make Goldberg look good at the end of it all as well.
So depending on the outcome, next week, best match ever, Bill Goldberg.
Yes. If it's done, we'll do best match ever Goldberg next week.
There you go. Goldberg. We're saying Gunther beats Goldberg. LA Knight, versus Seth Rollins 1-on-1.
I think Seth's got to win.
The Seth Riders will help him out there. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre.
Randy's lost a few big matches recently, but I feel you'd want to heat up Drew for something. So whether we get some non-finish here, Or maybe we continue a bit of a losing streak for Randy. Which pushes him to hearing those voices in his head for the eventual turn. So, yeah, I'll go with Drew for this one.
Yeah, like we lost Randy using the punt with the Kevin Owens storyline. So Randy's got to save it for when he's a heel and when he kicks Cody in the head, possibly.
Yeah.
So far, there's only those 3 matches for Saturday Night Main Event, but I'm sure they will add some more. But let's quickly, before we sign off, talk a little bit about Evolution Girl Power 2025, the second Evolution. We got Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. They've had so many matches this year, on and off, but really awesome matches, including the WrestleMania Triple Threat, which was insane, incredible. That I think I know this is a rematch of a rematch of a rematch, but I was missing a solid one-on-one from them. I feel like all the one-on-ones that Rhea and Io had, something was just not as good as maybe that Triple Threat or some of the other matches. So I'm hoping that these two can go out there and kill it yet again. And I think this is our main event, right? These are the 2 biggest stars in wrestling, right? So
yeah, I think Io. I think they continue this story that Rhea's never beaten her. I don't think it's the time to end Io's reign. I also think for it to just go back to Rhea, I know Rhea is still insanely popular, but you risk her being a bit of a Cena or a bit of a Charlotte Flair, where it's like, okay, factory reset and Rhea's champion. So I think it would be better for both of them if Io wins, and you can continue this story with Rhea has never beaten Io in a singles match.
So Jade won Queen of the Ring, therefore she gets the SummerSlam match, right?
Yeah.
So Io needs a challenger for SummerSlam. Wait, what the fuck are they talking about? Clash in Berlin? No, sorry. Clash in Paris? When the hell is that?
That's after SummerSlam.
Like, holy shit, man. You're telling me to watch Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, Evolution, 2 nights of SummerSlam. Oh, and also we're promoting matches for Clash in Paris. Like, holy moly. Okay, so what's the match for Io? If Io, say, beats Rhea, is it not Stephanie Vaquer? But then you have her win. But then they told me that if she wins the Battle Royal, she gets the Paris match. So,
I mean, you could do. You're probably not turning Rhea heel, are you? At this point,
Rhea Io one more time, 1-on-1. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, you could just do it again at SummerSlam.
Again, I guess. Yeah. They're 2 big stars. That is a stadium. They're 2 of the biggest. I guess. I'm going with Io, though. I think we both are on that one. 4-way tag match for the tag titles. We got Raquel and Roxanne versus Charlotte and Alexa, Sol Ruka and Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors.
I feel probably Roxanne and Raquel. They've only really just started this story, and you've got the rest of Judgment Day all with gold. It doesn't really make sense to end it at this point.
Yeah, I would have them retain too. But I think this could be a pretty fun match, and especially this could be the first time a lot of WWE fans see the Soul Snatcher, and that will spin some heads, I'm sure. People will be like, wait, what was that? So definitely looking forward to seeing some of that. We got the Battle Royal for the World Women's Championship match at Clash in Paris. All the people in the segment from NXT tonight, including Lola, Jada, Kalani, Nikki, Natalia, Julia. There's all these women who are going to be in this, including Stephanie Vaquer as well. So I think Stephanie wins this.
I guess
when is Clash in Paris? I'm looking now.
End of August 31st.
I don't want to think of the end of summer. The summer's just starting.
Right.
Come on, sort of.
I guess Vaquer, I mean, really, it could be anyone. It's one of these Paris shows where they don't put a whole lot into these international ones, and the fans still go crazy for it.
Do they put a whole lot into any show?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sure, Stephanie.
Yeah. And then, now I've lost my page. But what else do we have on this show? We also have a NXT Women's Championship match. JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. I think we kind of said it earlier that there almost was zero build to this week other than the salon. So do you think Jordan's losing?
I'm saying JC to win, yeah.
Yeah. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Tiffy time versus Trishy time.
Yeah, I mean, Trish isn't going to be sticking around a long time, I doubt. So I think Tiffany.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Jade versus Naomi, no holds barred. I know you're looking forward to this one. I'm not being sarcastic. I know you love the Naomi story right now.
Naomi's been good. I kind of like to see Naomi get her win, but with her being Money in the Bank, the briefcase holder, I guess she could lose. That tends to be what they do. They just beat the briefcase holders into the ground until she cashes in.
Yeah, my mistake again. But so Jade gets the shot at SummerSlam. So maybe maybe Naomi cashes in then to
Yeah, that's what I mean. So she probably loses this match.
Yeah. But then gets the win there, or gets the title, I guess. And then Becky versus Bayley versus Lyra, triple threat for the IC title. This should be a fantastic match. I'm thinking this could be the show stealer for Evolution.
Yeah, this is the one I'm most looking forward to. I'd go Becky retaining.
I think Becky retaining. It would be funny because Lyra, give her the rub here, beating two legends. But I think we're going to continue with Becky in this heel run that we got going on. And then SummerSlam, Becky versus Bayley one-on-one, right? That's definitely the move. So Becky for the win.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's Evolution. If you're going to watch all the wrestling this weekend, definitely looking forward to all the wrestling going on. And there's never enough. So it'll keep you occupied wherever you may be. And wherever you may be, thank you for listening and supporting us here at upNXT and Poisonrana and Post Wrestling. Poisonrana.ca, whether you use Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, give us a follow and search Poisonrana in your podcast app. We have tons of free shows, including our show from Sunday with our huge preview for All in Texas, plus our chatter on everything else going on in the world of wrestling. But it doesn't stop there. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to become a friend for a whole month's access. Connects to your podcast feed, RSS there. We've recently done our Evolution 1 review. We've recently done a bunch of movie reviews, and this weekend we'll be doing a lot of audio diaries with our trip to Dallas for All in Texas. And we can't do this with all the listeners out there and everyone. We will be back next Tuesday, right after NXT, to talk all about the Great American Bash and everything from NXT next week. So appreciate everyone out there. Hope you're having a good summer and staying safe and staying nice and cool wherever you may be. And that's it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Very soon. Yeah. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And shout out you.
Ahoy!